Good morning mga katribu. It's
Morning, Chi.
Wednesday, November 8th. Welcome to another episode of Daily Tribune Straight Talk, where we discuss important matters to each of us. This is Gigie, Arcilla.
Good morning mga katribu. I'm Chito, Lozada. We are live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube.
Yes, in this morning's episode, we are joined by the president of the Semiconductor and Electronics Industries in the Philippines Foundation.
Yes,
All right.
correct.
So, Mr. Dan Lachica.
Hello, Dan. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Good morning,
morning.
Gigi and Chito.
And welcome to Straight Talk.
Thank you.
All right. So, para sa for the benefit of, our viewers.
Put it into
Ano ba ang
context.
semiconductor?
Yeah.
Okay. Semiconductor really refers, well, the industry itself, our sector is described as semiconductor and electronics. Now, of the $49 billion exports we've had in 2022, 70% is in semiconductors, 30% is in electronics manufacturing services.
Electronics.
Well, what are semiconductors, to your point? Yung semiconductors, if you have any device, any electronic device, if you open it up, you will see these black chips na meron siyang parang paa, parang spider. No? These are the what we call integrated circuits, right? And the semiconductor components, these are all belong to the semiconductor components, and what they are, hopefully not too technical for our viewers. We import wafers, semiconductor wafers, silicon wafers, and then they're brought into the Philippines to the multinationals that do ATP, which stands for Assembly, Test, and Packaging. So they test the wafers. They have it's divided into squares or rectangles, each one being a device, a discrete device. And they're tested. If they're good, they're packaged and assembled into the chips. These are the semiconductors, which go to practically everything that you see around you: cell phones, TV sets,
TVs,
cameras, and these are what we call the boxes that they go into, which is made in the general description of electronics manufacturing services or box builds. Yun yung 30% ng ating exports. Yung 70%, the semiconductors would be the chips.
chips.
And most of these are imported. Siguro over 90% of the output of our
Components.
industries for export. So that's a long-winded answer. I hope that helps you understand what
At
it is.
least naintindihan.
so at
So,
least we have a
basically pala, ang
background.
ating mga ginagamit na phone ay merong parang spider,
Chips.
Chips yan.
Chips.
Tawag dyan, chips.
spider-like
or integrated
chips.
circuits.
Alright.
Circuit.
So, puntahan naman natin, Sir Chito. Siguro, let's ask Dan about, what is the SEIPM?
PI.
PI.
SII.
SEIPI is the Association of the Electronics Manufacturers, the supply chain, and the university academy members of the electronics industry in the Philippines. In other words, we're the organization that represents this industry. And our mission really is to provide or create a competitive business environment para sa mga electronics companies na nandito sa bansa natin. And that mission is actually captured by an acronym we describe as TRAINS. Training, research and development, road mapping, advocacies, I for information. And when I say information, information for the members, information for government, information for public, networking para sa mga members ng ating electronics community, and services, CSR, yung mga pangangailangan ng mga members, kasapi, and all that. So, TRAINS yung aming acronym for the type of work that we do for the industry, for the electronics industry.
So, ilan naman po ang ano, Chito, the academe, how many members?
Over 40, between 40 and 50 in last count. Ano? And these are universities, colleges, and training institutions. They're part of our industry association because they're part of the supply chain. They supply the talent.
Yung
That's a
mga
good way to
companies
put
naman
it.
po, how many all in all are members?
Well, 102 are manufacturing members. You know, this would be the manufacturers like Texas Instruments, Analog Devices, Ionics, Integrated Microelectronics, on Semiconductor, Teradyne. Ito yung mga manufacturing companies, no? And then meron tayong, like I said, suppliers of products and services, which would include Meralco, Globe, PLDT, First Gen, Aboitiz. So ito naman, and of course logistics companies, no, like FedEx, DHL, and other logistics companies. And the others would be suppliers of parts, suppliers of components, packaging materials. Lahat yan nandoon sa 150 plus na what we call associate members. Yung manufacturers, regular members yun. Associates and suppliers, and then yung affiliates, yung universities and training institutions. They all make 362.
All right.
So, in terms of exports naman, sir, where are the local manufacturers? How big are their share in the global export market?
The whole industry itself, for the Philippines, in 2022, we accounted for $49.09 billion of exports, which is about 13% of our country's GDP. Yun yung dollar for dollar lang. Pero if you count the other industries that depend on the electronics industry, that easily goes up to 23%. And what do I mean by that? Yung food providers, cafeteria, shuttle bus drivers, security. So, maabot yan sa 23%.
Indirect
Now, yung ating naman, when I say exports, obviously lumalabas ng ating bansa, if you look at the top 5, ang pinaka malaki diyan is destination, is sa Hong Kong, which is about 18%. Now, ang Hong Kong naman is unique in the sense na it's kind of like a distribution hub. Yung pumupunta sa Hong Kong, pwedeng sa US, pwedeng sa Europe, pwedeng sa China. 18% yan, 14% sa United States, 10% sa China, and then mga 7% sa Japan, 6% sa Singapore. Yun yung top 5 na destinations natin.
Okay. So, nabanggit ni Dan kanina yung tungkol sa competitiveness. How competitive are we? How competitive ang ating human resource in terms of semiconductor and electronics?
Okay. So siguro in terms of competitiveness, human resource is one. The other part would be cost competitiveness. In terms of quality, maganda yung quality natin. In terms of our workforce, maganda ang ating productivity. Medyo dehado tayo sa cost of operations. And when I say operating cost, pumapasok dyan would be the cost. The logistics cost, yung pag-ship, yung cooling water that they're used for the processing of these products, and even labor. Kasi if you count all the holidays, medyo yung ating labor wages all in, mas mahal na siya compared to our
because of the holidays.
I'm sorry?
Because of the holidays?
Nakakadagdag. Kasi ang electronics kasi 24/7 yan eh.
Yeah.
So pag sinagasaan mo yung holidays, double pay yan.
Pala.
Right? It's a busy industry, so to speak. Even when I say 24/7, whether it's 3 shifts or yung compressed work week, basta it spans through Monday to Monday, Sunday to Sunday, and then 3 shifts, right?
3 shifts.
So, 24/7. Then the other part is like Gigie said, yung talent natin.
Doon ako interested.
Yes. Well, it's not a secret, and you've talked not just to electronics but other industries. Na the college graduates, don't have all the skills that they need that are needed by the company. So they usually need another year or two to be trained on the skills that are essential for the success or for the to be able to function well in their respective jobs in the company. Um, so we've given our inputs to the appropriate government agency. In fact, 11 years ago, I remember clearly. I remember 11 years because that's the time I started with SEIPI, and when I opted for early retirement from the First Philippine Holdings, the corporation I was working for. Um, the board of SEIPI invited me to run the organization because my predecessor passed away. So I said, "Sige, I can help out." And one of the first things that I did at that time was to, because the clamor for the industry is, we need, more skills, more education from our graduates. And I'm talking about the bachelor's degree graduates, no? And so we have networking committees that, in particular, our HR networking committee and the engineering committee. We had a workshop in Tagaytay to identify the subjects that need to be strengthened, the technical skills that need to be, enhanced from the higher education institutes, no? And we submitted that to this government agency. It's been 11 years and nothing has happened. And so today, we still face that challenge, no? One time I was speaking in an ASEAN ministers forum, and I was invited by, ironically, one of the commissioners, and so I spoke about this gap, and the minister from Hong Kong basically said, your situation is, what the problem is, your agency is not treating the industries as their customers. Because if they did, they would ask you what you need, they will listen to you, and they will make the appropriate change.
The agency meaning the government
This particular
agency.
government agency, hindi ko na siguro kailangan banggitin. So what we did, one of my roles, like I said, is in SEIPI. The other would be as the chief of party of this USAID project. And it's an industry, USAID project partnered with Unilab Foundation in this program called AMDEV, Advanced Manufacturing Workforce Skills Development. No? And the intent really is recognizing the skills gap. We ran a survey, I think about 8 industries, and about over 500 companies, and the survey, the response came from about 223 companies. And so we were able to identify the enabling and functional skills that the workers needed. This is from the perspective of the employer. No?
Okay.
So when I say enabling skills, this would be something like digital fluency, critical thinking, problem solving. And functional skills would be what they need to function as engineers or technicians in their jobs, no? Technical staff. And this would be the programmable logic controllers or the maintenance of the equipment. And so what we have 12 partners in this endeavor. They range from, our model companies like 2 from pharma, 2 from electronics, and then from schools like Ateneo Cord, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and associations like PMAP, ICCP, which is the Network of Industrial Parks, AER for policy reform. So there are 12 of them, and what we pulled our resources together to look at the skills that require upskilling, and then kung meron ng mga existing training courses yung partners namin, then we will do that training, deploy it, and our target really was to, by the end of the 5-year program, 11,000 upskilled workers for advanced manufacturing. And I'll talk more about advanced manufacturing in a bit. in year one, which we've just finished, we had a goal of 300. We actually exceeded that by, I don't know, over by 60%. We trained 400. So by the end of this 5-year program, more than 11,000 yan. So it's a good seed to start with. Yung advanced manufacturing, you probably have heard of IR 4.0. Industrial
Industry
Revolution
Revolution.
4.0, the use of cyber physical systems in the manufacturing line. We kind of use IR 4.0 and advanced manufacturing alternately because today the most advanced manufacturing is in the realm of IR 4.0, right? But eventually there's going to be a 5.0 or a 6.0. In fact, nag-start na yung IR 5.0 and it's considered the personalization of the cyber physical systems. What does that mean?
Because,
In-upskill mo yung tao, they still have to work with equipment, automated equipment, okay? So kailangan may human, if-factor in mo na human component of your advanced manufacturing system. And so what we're targeting is for this kind of environment, whether it's electronics or pharma or food or chemicals, we will reach out to them, share with them our findings, and the courses that their workforce can be trained on. And the end goal really is to improve the competitiveness of the company, of the industry, and the overall competitiveness of our country. So,
All right. So,
yeah. So we need to talk about more
oo.
of this.
So, yung upskilling na sinasabi ni
Upscaling.
Dan. So,
We're quite late in that.
so we'll have to pause for a
that
short
area.
break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about more about this upskilling of human resources in the semiconductor and electronics.
So we
mga
will be
Tribu,
back.
we'll be right back.
This break is brought to you by Hangkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, #Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Conti's Bake Shop and Restaurant, delightfully yours. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you.
A wellness show dedicated to empowering viewers with the knowledge and inspiration needed to lead a healthy lifestyle. Be Well Now, hosted by Miss Cory Crino, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. only here at Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube. Alamin ang pinakamaiinit na balita at mahalagang issue na bumabalot ngayon sa ating bansa. Ating pag-usapan, blow by blow, dito lang sa Hot Patatas, kasama sila Chicky Mangkukang, Vernon Velasco at Gio Leaño. Yung Lunes, Miyerkules at Biyernes, alas 3 ng hapon, dito lang sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube. Conversations that are masterclasses from the top honchos of various industries. Learn from their strategies and insights so you yourself can unlock your full potential. Perfect every Friday at 2 p.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
Hello.
Yes, we're back, and we're still with Dan Lachica, the president of the Semiconductor and Electronics Industries in the Philippines Foundation. Okay, so marami po tayong mga katanungan pa, Dan. So you were talking about, the gaps. Okay.
yes.
So probably I have to ask more about, the human resource gaps. Na
Sure.
parang, popular na yung course na Electronics and Communications Engineer.
engineering.
Noon ilang universities lang ang nag-offer niya. But now, sabi mo nga, you have 40 plus members. So meaning, more than 40
Universities,
plus ang nag-offer ng ganitong course. What seems to be yung kulang? Parang, may kulang ba? Parang, why the need for upskilling? Is not the 4 years, dati 5 years yan.
5
Is
years.
not the 4 years enough to get the skills and the knowledge about, semiconductors and electronics?
Yeah, it's really not enough, and we've been struggling with that situation, like I said, for the past decade. Okay, siguro let's see. I'll give you not necessarily not necessarily yung hardcore electronics or device physics, pero ito lang example, no. when we take statistics in college, tinuturuan tayo ng, okay, how do you compute the average? You have several numbers. How do you compute the average? Means, medians, and mode. Three ways to compute the average. That's the statistics that we learn in college. Pero sa industriya, in the industries, hindi lang ganyan ang computation. Kailangan natin. What we need are Six Sigma trained workers. The heavy use of statistics, inference, and the thing is, they use that as a core knowledge to be able to manage yung process control so that the products that you produce would be of high quality and maliit ang variation. Okay? Kaya nga tinawag na Six Sigma. Sigma is the Greek letter for variation. You want to reduce that so that you produce less defects.
Yung quality.
Yung quality, which contributes to the cost also. Siyempre, high quality, mas mababa yung cost mo, competitiveness. Means, medians, and modes, hindi yan ang core of statistics that the industry needs. I'll give you another example. Pag tayo, nag-experiment tayo sa lab natin in our school, no?
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably remember, meron kang control variable, meron kang variable at saka meron kang control. Yung control mo, that doesn't vary. Yung variable mo binabago. Kunyari, binabari mo ang temperature. Titingnan mo kung ano, at saka controlled, for example, yung, palagyan natin, nagbe-bake ka ng cake. No? Controlled mo yung time, binabari mo yung temperature. Or, control mo yung temperature, ibabari mo yung time.
Sa kabila naman.
Tingnan mo kung anong masarap dun sa cake. That condition doesn't exist in the real world. What you have, like you're baking a cake, may what we call confluence of variables. May impact ang varying the temperature, may impact ang varying the time on the quality of the cake or the product. That's why we have in the industry a need for the design of experiments. Hindi lang yung lab model na isang control, isang variable. Because that doesn't happen in the real world. Eh, hindi tinuturo ang design of experiments sa school. So these are examples of why we need to enhance and strengthen the subjects. Device physics, semiconductor wafer processing, thermodynamics, lahat yan kailangan i-strengthen. Because yung tinuturo natin, 19 kopong-kopong pa eh. So, times have changed, technologies have changed, advancements in science have changed, hindi nakaka-keep up yung ano.
So what is needed is a change in curriculum?
Curriculum or to...
What's needed is for this agency to talk to the industry,
This
find
agency
out
again.
what they need, okay, and then adjust accordingly. Make the improvements, make the corrective action. Then and only then can you be able to keep up with the needs of industry and the skills they need from the graduates of the schools. I mean, many schools are enamored with, you will see advertising school, so many board passers, right? Okay. In our industry, we don't need board passers except for 2 jobs. The electrical engineer who signs the schematics to be submitted to the government, and the mechanical engineer. Process engineer, quality engineer, we don't need the PRC license. We need the skills.
The skills.
The skills are what we need, not the paper.
Yeah.
So yun yung challenge.
That's a
So,
big challenge.
How do you think the industry would have to moving forward? Given na ganun yung challenges niyo ngayon, like yun nga yung sa skills ng mga tao. So how will the industry move forward? How will the organization move forward given na medyo mabagal ang response ng
Agency.
ng ahensya?
Well, first
The
of
mystery
all, we're
agents.
not gonna, cry and say, oh, we're victims. We're not victims, We need to do whatever it takes. For example, from a SEIPI standpoint, we will continue to advocate for these improvements. from the company's perspective naman, they will forge partnerships. Kaya nga at SEIPI we have this academe industry linkage, no? That's why we have this member companies. But the individual companies, especially for the universities near their site, they will forge partnerships for specific needs. Like kunyari, there's one company that funded a laboratory in several universities so that the students can be trained on the skills that they need. But the problem is, hindi mo naman pwede standardize yan beyond the 6 electives. Okay?
Oh, yes, so they have
Oo,
6.
kasi kailangan i-approve yan yung agency. So that's what they do. But the other part naman, and like I said earlier, yung industry-led initiative, to help in our own way, this USAID-funded project, in partnership with the Unilab Foundation, we call it Advanced Manufacturing Workforce Skills Development. Like I said, it's industry-led, and our goal really is to create a pipeline of flexible, ready, upskilled workforce to thrive in an advanced manufacturing environment. We started with pharma, we started with electronics, but this year, we finished our first year of a 5-year project. We plan to expand to other manufacturing sectors. No? In fact, the courses that we're developing, we also have had conversations with TESDA so that they have the system kasi for accrediting courses, so that we will create training regulations for TESDA to approve so that those who are trained in this, dun sa AMDEV initiative nato, will be given national certificates so that they can apply for jobs and show their national certificates for this particular skills. No? It's not really going to focus much on social studies or geography, but the technical skills that are needed for the job.
So are you saying, Dan, that, TESDA is more responsive?
I don't want to compare to other agencies, but I'll say it at this point that they are responsive to our needs. We have had meetings with Director General Teng and Deputy Director Just. We've kind of identified. In fact, when we met with them, si DDG Rose was saying na our president wanted TESDA to upgrade the old TRs kasi dated na nga eh. Di ba sabi ko nga even the college courses are dated na. Etong techbook courses, yung TRs, were also dated. So sabi ni DDG Rose in a meeting with DG Teng, can you help us? So, without blinking an eye, I volunteered SEIPI and AMDEV to help, so that they trained us on how they're going to train us on how to do training regulations. Because you have to have subject matter experts to go through the process, and then we'll help them update and generate more TRs for the courses that we're deploying sa AMDEV. So now you have a situation. Hindi BS degree or pero at least for the particular skills na kailangan for advanced manufacturing.
So mafe-fill yung gap?
Yes, that is the direction because otherwise, what are we waiting for? Pasko na nga eh.
But there's the valid concern about
The graduates.
the graduates.
How many ECE
Moving out.
graduates ba are we producing
Well,
annually?
in general, mga engineers, 80 to 100,000 a year ang output natin. In a typical electronics company, siguro, and I'm talking about mix na, hindi lang electronics engineers, so mga 10 to 15% are engineers, mostly are workers. I mean, some companies, depende kasi kung kunyari they do more on design and R&D. Mas marami silang engineers, up to about 20%. Pero in general, 10 to 15% are engineers. By the way, yung sabi mo kanina, attractive ang ECE. Not so much now. Bumaba ang enrollment sa mga ECE.
Why is that?
Well, I guess...
Baka they don't find it lucrative na. May mga alumni na hotels that, the young students na, wag na kayong kumuha niyan.
Mahirap for one thing. The courses are hard. So sabi nila, well, quick payback or whatever, baka nahihirapan sila, pwede naman ako ibang engineering na ano. But I think it's really, the other part of that is perhaps the perception of the lack of jobs,
Lack of
which is
jobs.
not true. There's a lot of engineering openings in the industry. Pero yun nga, siguro there's quick returns, quick payback for other careers.
Hindi
lalo
siya
na-
lucrative for them.
Well, you know what? Ang starting salary ng mga engineers is hindi nakakalayo. But if you go through that technical staff and all that, and you go up to the higher levels, very lucrative
Higher
yung
than
salary
average.
ng nasa electronics industry.
Pero there's this valid concern about migration.
Yung mga OFW.
nga. Yung
Brain drain.
yung mga those who have the skills would rather find jobs abroad.
Well, the reality is, they're going to earn more money if they go to Singapore. That's why ang daming Filipino sa electronics industry ng Singapore, Taiwan, even the United States. I mean, I spent 16 years in Silicon Valley, right?
That's
Definitely, mas malaki yung salary ron. But I came home together with a few of my friends for different reasons. It's not for the money, but
To help.
love of country. I mean, syempre, mas gusto natin dito sa bansa natin, di ba? But actually, one of our USAID partners asked me that question. I mean, we're investing our money and yet we're losing these people. We've invested in the people and we're losing them. Sabi ko, you're not investing in the people alone. You're investing in the training system. Okay, what's the difference? Because there's no way we can stop a worker who's been upskilled to seek a more profitable, greener pasture, di ba? That's the reality, because unless we have those jobs and that kind of pay scale in the Philippines, naturally they will look, which is not necessarily bad, because OFW remittances also helps our economy.
Yeah.
But the problem is for the companies who train, they lose them. So the compromise, how to mitigate that, is fill the pipeline with trained people.
Yeah.
You retain a critical core of people for the the knowledge base, the skill base, but keep on filling that pipeline. Not to say that they will all leave, kasi mababa pa rin yung ating turnover rate sa Philippines compared to other countries, no? Which is good. But then again, you can't really expect in all situations that you've invested in the training, they will stay there forever. It's not realistic. So fill that pipeline. Okay, and that's why you invest in the training system, not just in the person. So
That's true. Yeah.
So ibig sabihin, you've learned to live with the fact, the reality na, I mean, people come and go, especially this graduates na talagang ang kanilang purpose for seeking local employment is just to gain experience para
There's a lot of
makapag-abroad
those.
sila.
well, that's where the
thinking.
culture of the company comes into play. Because before I retired, I was running multiple companies, and you have to develop a culture that would make people want to stay, right? Good communications, competitive benefits, making them feel that they have a voice and a say in how the companies run. So those are the kinds of things that you need to make sure that you have. Otherwise, mataas ang turnover mo. Okay? Lalo na if you're competing. Kasi, while money is a factor, it's not everything. So people still value loyalty. Lalo na being close to the family. Di ba yung mga nag-OFW, nahihirapan sila, lalayo sa
may
pamilya. You have
social
a lot of
problem.
broken homes because of that, right? So, you just develop that environment that's conducive for staying here. I mean, when I came back to the Philippines, I was running an American company, and at one point, I was running this operation in the Philippines and in another country. Hindi ko nasasabihin kung sino. Pero the productivity in the Philippines of my workers, same product, same process, mas mataas by about 25 to 30% compared to this other country because
It's quite
the
high.
people are resilient, they're productive, they focus on what they're doing. And so you have to create that environment na
culture.
masaya sila.
Yeah.
That culture.
That's right. So I'm going to ask you after the break, Dan, about advanced manufacturing
Yep.
na sinabi mo. And of course, yung
Tsaka Industry 5. I'm interested in that.
4.0 naman
and
yan.
also AI.
Yes.
AI na ba yun?
Sure.
Industry 5?
Industry 5.
Hindi. Yung AI kasi kasama na yan. So there are 5
Industry
pillars of
4.
Industry 4.0. So that's part still of 4.0. But as we...
Beyond the AI.
Oo. Beyond
All
AI.
right. So we'll be talking about that, Dan, when we
Sure.
come back after a short break.
Okay.
Sure.
This break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Conti's Bake Shop and Restaurant, delightfully yours. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Creative minds, entertainment icons, style influencers. We shine the spotlight on remarkable individuals who shape our cultural landscape. Every Tuesday at 2 p.m., only here in Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube. Parayan at talakayang showbiz, times 2, doble-doble! Kasama ang dalawa sa walang kupas na talakayan ng showbiz, Alwin Ignacio at Alex Brosas. DTT Show, tuwing Sabado at Linggo, alas 4 ng hapon, dito lang sa Diaryo Tirada ng Daily Tribune.
Straight Talk dives deep into present issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
Yes, and we're still with Dan Lachica. We're talking about semiconductors and electronics. So, Dan, now is the time to talk about advanced manufacturing
Advanced manufacturing.
and AI.
Yes. How did the Industrial Revolution, the term Industrial Revolution come about? Siguro,
Let's start
let's
with
start there. Of course, at some point in time, to get to 4.0, we must have come from 1.0, right? And we did. In the 18th century, the 1700s, ano pa nun, when you talk about manufacturing, ang source of yung steam and water power, okay? 1.0 yan.
Steam engines.
Steam engines. At saka yung water turbines. Then we were ushered into the 19th century, 1870 or thereabouts. Industry 2.0, the introduction of electricity and mass production. Mass production, yung Ford production line, automotive production line. And then, 2.0 ushered in 3.0. Ano naman ibig sabihin ng 3.0? Automated equipment. Okay. I was actually in Silicon Valley in the 80s and 80s in a semiconductor wafer fab. Automated equipment, right? Kunyari, yung product mo, ilo-load mo sa carrier and then the machine will pick it up, take it and process it, hihintayin mo na lang yung output sa labas. That's what we mean by automated equipment. Di ba? Pero meron pa rin mga manual equipment, kunyari yung mga cleaning, when we would clean wafers, we would put it in a carrier, in an acid bath, sinasawsaw mo. How do you automate that? A robot picks up the carrier and does the controlled dipping according to the time and temperature that you need. So yun yung difference of manual and automated. The problem,
Three pa rin yun.
Three pa rin
Yung
to.
robots.
May automation yung equipment. But these were standalone automated pieces of equipment. IR 4.0 ushers in the interaction of this automated equipment. In other words, the machines talk to each other na through sensors, through Internet of Things, through data capture. In other words, kunyari, yung sa line namin na mag-measure ka ng wafer, isa-isahin mo yung reading. Eto, pipick upin na automatic inspection, ida-download yung data into your server.
Nearly full
Oo,
automation.
oo. Pero kailangan pa rin ng manual
Ganyan na
intervention.
ba tayo sa Pilipinas? 4.0?
Well, that's a good question because yung sabi ko kanina, we had about 102 manufacturing companies. About a little over 50% practice some level of IR 4.0.
Okay.
But most, hindi pa.
Alright. So, sige, balikan na natin ulit.
So,
yung-
yun na nga, yung cyber physical
cases.
systems, yun na nga, the machines talk to each other, talk to a computer system. And that's why there are 11 pillars of IR 4.0. Nasabi nyo nga, artificial intelligence, automation, cybersecurity. Obviously, if you have automated or computerized systems, you have to have some form of cybersecurity. The vertical and horizontal integration, cloud computing, hindi lang basta yung standalone servers, no, cloud computing. So there's about 11 of them that were all wrapped up into having a fully IR 4.0 system. But then again, hindi naman when I said 52% of our members are into IR 4.0, hindi full implementation lahat. Some levels. And that's why I advise people, you get, kasi dalawa yung main reasons why a company or an industry won't embrace IR 4.0. One is it's expensive. Ang perception, it's very expensive. And that's true. You have to automate, you have to buy new equipment, etc. And for some markets or some companies, hindi nila kailangan yon, right? But the other part of it is the information and the education.
Yeah.
Why will we do it? I mean, people don't do it because they don't know the impact of how it can enhance cost, how it can enhance your competitiveness, your product quality. So you have to strike a balance. Kaya nga sabi ko nga sa AI forum yesterday, no, maraming nagsasabi, basta maganda to, gawin natin. That's dangerous. You have to understand what your need is. Kaya nga sabi ko, there's a lot of people I've met with artificial intelligence. They think they know everything, but they don't really know much. So, but it's dangerous kasi just to, kumbaga, throw in money at it, hindi mo naman kailangan. So you can do it gradually in steps, depending on what you need, depending on what your customer needs. Okay. But yeah, AI is part and parcel of an IR 4.0 environment because it really does enhances your capabilities, for example, sa industrial engineering, yung mga projects mo sa operations management, you find the optimum way to transport product A from point A to point B, your product from point A to point B. Linear yung line of thinking mo yun. In today's world, in a logistics environment, there are many possible glitches. Nagka-traffic, nagka-aksidente, umulan, nagbaha. Your AI basically will collect the data of the impact of these kinds of factors to help you have a better prediction of how long it will take and what is the cost to transport your product from point A to point B. That's the value of AI.
Yan ang
You don't have to
ways.
experience. Oh,
Parang ways.
hindi lang ways, beyond ways.
Beyond
A
ways.
lot of ways. All the ways.
All the ways.
So yun, even inspection of your products, even managing your supply chain, distribution. Basically, AI collects data that's available, compiles and consolidates it, and applies it to the particular situation that you are asking it to evaluate. That's why nawawala yung trial and error. Meron ka ng database that will provide you with that information to enhance your decision making.
Correct.
Okay. So, yun ang role ng AI.
Yung Industry 5. Can you take us there?
Well, actually, the first time I heard about Industry 5.0 was from the Japanese folks. In fact, they didn't call it IR 5.0, they called it Society 5.0.
Society.
Yes, because as they recognized the advent of automation, robotics, so it's, what's going to happen to the people?
Wala na work.
Will they be rendered useless? And how will this benefit them? Because, that's why, for example, one concern with IR 4.0 and digital transformation is what will happen with the workforce? Pag in-automate mo na, matatanggalan ba lahat ng trabaho yan? Di ba? In fact, kaya nga in many companies, when they say automate, nagre-rebelde yung mga tao because they think, oh, I'm gonna lose my job. You know? Well, when you have new machines, new equipment, then you have need somebody to operate
operate.
them.
Human intervention.
Human intervention, no? So that's where you need upskilling. That's where you need additional training, upskilling. That's where it comes into play. And then the other thing is, somebody told me, I was talking to a venture capitalist in the Bay Area, in Silicon Valley. He said, you know, Dan, nowadays, you can't separate hardware from software. In other words, the
Software.
machine from the program
Program.
that runs it. And so you're going to need a lot more software engineers to do the programming. You're going to need a lot more technicians to work on the work. So yung operator mo, hindi lang basta tiga-operate lang. They need to learn the skills, no? On some intervention or some equipment interventions, and doing predictive maintenance, preventive maintenance, etc. So new skills will be developed, and that's why you need to upskill also, so you don't lose that number of people. But the reality is, there might be some form of amount of displacement. There's an ILO study across several industries, hindi lang manufacturing. Ang sinasabi nila, maybe 30% displacement raw, no?
30%.
30%. But for manufacturing, the study says 9%, no? For manufacturing, pag nag-automate ka. But what do we do with that? I mean, obviously, when you upskill, you are equipping them with new capabilities that they haven't had before. And, you know, if from the company's perspective, when they automate, now they have the capability to absorb more product, more demand. So maybe that particular production line has reduced its headcount, but since you're bringing in new products, ilalagay mo dun sa bagong production line yung mga tao.
Mag-expand, no?
Right? So now, with the same amount of people, you can produce more products, right? And then, yun na nga, because of the new skills required from an operator, maybe they can be technicians for programming even, programmers. No? So those are the kinds of jobs that we see would evolve. Now, in the worst case that they really are displaced, hindi nagkaroon ng increased capacity or talagang sobra na ng tao, well, at least they have the new skills that can equip them to look for better jobs. Right? So it's not really a lose-lose situation. There's a win-win there. No? And again, in the worst case, that at least for our member companies who have people displaced, then the company provides for some amount of compensation to help them get back on their feet. But our industry kasi is very, I guess, employee-friendly. I mean, during the 3 years of COVID, they were not terminated. The workforce.
Oh, yeah.
Why? It's more expensive to hire and train. So
Ah,
the
that's correct,
companies,
yes.
Yeah.
kasi you lose productivity, you lose, time. So they kept them. Nandun sila sa bahay, binabayaran.
Okay, that's good.
So that's the mindset.
That's
That's
the
good.
reality.
Kasi yun yung aking na-discover ngayon. During the time of the pandemic, isa sa mga industries na hindi nagkaroon ng, na paralyze.
Massive layoff
massive layoff. So, ibig sabihin, yun yung semiconductor.
Semiconductor.
Yeah.
Pay now
Mas
or pay later. If you let them go, when you restart, where you're gonna hire all those people, then ititrain mo. Like
Back
I
to
said,
square
1 to
one.
2 years
Yeah.
ang training.
Back to square one.
As again,
Just
increase
like,
in demand.
opening a new business. All right. So, Dan, napaka-interesting ng ating usapan ng tungkol sa semiconductors. This is something new to me, although I read, nababasa ko ikaw, Chito.
May Industry 6 pa.
Oo nga
Yeah,
pala.
it's probably around the corner. I don't know what that looks
so
like,
wala.
pero
So, if you would rate, the current semiconductor and electronics, so talking about this, IR, nasaan ang Pilipinas?
Actually, the study that they showed yesterday in the forum was siguro in ASEAN, we're globally, we're not quite there yet. Nasa range of 40s or 50s in terms of global ranking. Sa ASEAN, siguro mga
Anong version tayo na IR?
well, may
Average.
range nga eh, anywhere
Average.
from 2 to 4. Okay.
2 to 4.
Yung mga yung ano, yung
Yung mga
sa
small scale.
in fact there was a somebody from Singapore who said basically in general the Philippines raw nasa around 2.2 or something
2.2.
across the board.
Yeah,
So we still have a long ways to go. But then again, do you just say, sige, hanggang dito na lang tayo? No, you want to still educate the people, the companies, the industry. These are the benefits of automating and going to this progress of digital transformation.
Lalo na sa mga small scale
Yeah,
businesses.
and do it conservatively. You don't have to spend a lot of money just because, no? You have to cater it to your needs.
Kaya may role ang government
Yeah.
to
Oh yeah, definitely. There's in fact
upscale.
with the electronics industry, we're partnering with DTI and DOST to kind of expand knowledge, information, and the use of IR 4.0. So,
So,
yun ang ating staunch government partners.
Lagi talagang ano yan.
okay.
I mean, sa industry, hindi pwedeng, they cannot just do it alone. Laging nandyan yung
May dynamic.
It's
role
always
ng-
the industry, the academe, the
and the
government
government,
play
yeah.
important roles.
So can we have your parting words, Dan?
Well, first of all, thanks for the opportunity for inviting me and helping, impart this information to you as well as your viewers on Facebook. And I think, I guess we have a lot of challenges. But then again, my message really is, what do you do with the challenges? Look at them as opportunities for improvement. Okay? Instead of just taking, oh no, have the victim mentality, rise up to the challenge. I mean, keep on working with government and academia to improve the situation. But in the meantime, let's just do our best. And of course, the more important thing is put God in the center of everything that we do.
That is the most important thing in that.
So thank you so much, Dan,
Yeah.
for sharing your insights, your skill, your knowledge about the industry, and thank you
So,
mga katribu.
that wraps it up.
That has been another episode of Straight Talk, and
So,
we'll be back again next week, and watch us on YouTube. Tribune
And
now on
Facebook,
YouTube and
live.
Facebook. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Dan.
God bless you.
Yes.
so,